Hello, everybody. Welcome again to episode 6 of the Behind the Stripes podcast. My name is Rama Peroo, joined as always by Tiger Athletic Hall of Famer, Coach Dave Burroughs. We've got a great guest with us today. We've got another Tiger Athletic Hall of Famer with us, Tiger baseball coach Darren Burroughs. Coach, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thanks for having me. This is my pleasure.
Well, we're excited to have you. For everybody out there, Coach Burroughs is beginning his 7th season as head coach of the Tigers after spending the previous 30 seasons as an assistant coach to his brother Dave. So Darren has helped coach the Tigers to has an incredible 21 Jayhawk Conference Eastern Division titles and 11 trips to the NJCAA World Series. So, Coach, let's go back to the start of things. Where were you born and raised?
Well, I was born in Bonita, Oklahoma, and raised in Langley, Oklahoma, which is 20 miles from there. There was no hospital, obviously, other than Bonita, and so we were all born and shipped back to the farm.
Gotcha. What was life like in the Burroughs household growing up?
It was good. It was disciplined. It was competitive. You were allowed to learn through life's lessons, but we didn't have a lot, but we didn't know it. We had a lot of love in our house, and our parents were really good to us.
Was there a lot of outdoor games between you and your brother? Were you guys close growing up, or I know there's a little bit of an age difference there?
Well, there's an age difference, but I was fortunate enough to be just old enough to. They always were short a player on some team and some sport, and so I got to play a lot, and so I got to play with a lot of older guys and get my head knocked in a little bit and learn to toughen up and learn to get better.
Sure.
You get your nose broke out there in them games, couldn't you?
I did.
There you go.
I did.
I was going to say, being the older brother, I'm sure that might have been some times where you might have gave it to the little brother a little bit, but do you have some fond memories of him growing up as a little brother?
There wasn't much of that going on. Probably your typical normal picking on your younger brother. If you got one, you got to pick on him. That's just the way it is. But now we wanted him to play, so we couldn't run him off, so we had to have that extra guy.
Sure. How about the love of baseball and competition in general? How did that all start for you?
I think through our dad. Dad was ate up with baseball, and he just. I think he just was always ate up with it, and he just pushed it to us. And outdoors was everything to us. We were outdoors all the time, whatever season it was, whether it be football season or basketball season or baseball season, and summertime there was more daylight left after work, so we did a lot more baseball. And Dad coached our baseball teams. And
excellent.
Growing up, you grow up in a small town, somebody's got to take it over, and so he usually coached both teams unless there was a problem with the schedule.
Mm-hmm. Was your father much of an athlete growing up? Do you know much of his background? Did he share that much with you?
Well, yeah, our dad had to grow up fast. His dad died in an oil field accident at a young age, and he was the oldest of 6 kids, and so he had to go to work and got married and started having a family, and so I think he always loved athletics, but just wasn't probably allowed to do it as much.
Sure, gotcha. As far as a baseball idol growing up, did you have anybody that you kind of looked at as someone that you was an idol of yours, or that
I think
in the backyard?
I think everybody in the '70s that grew up in Oklahoma was a Johnny Bench fan.
Oh yeah, sure.
And then of course Warren Spahn was kind of a guy that was a left-handed pitcher that Dad always talked about a lot, how good he was, and so. But I probably was. Probably more infatuated because I was kind of a Reds fan growing up too.
The big red machine,
because of Johnny Bench, and so I even, in fact, as a school project, wrote Johnny Bench a letter, and one day mowing a yard, here come. Of course, it wasn't his writing properly, but they sent a letter back, which I thought was cool.
Definitely. You got to see your brother here get drafted into the Major League Baseball and go through all of that, and then you follow in his footsteps, and you end up being a 5th-round draft pick. So walk me through that day. What was that like to get that call that you were going to be
well, it's much different than today, obviously. I mean, there was just a phone call. You're just waiting on a phone call. Now you can watch everything on a computer and
maybe a week after the fact.
I got it fairly early, I guess. I don't know, and I think we had a pretty good idea. The Phillies were pretty interested because they were there all the time, and that's kind of how it was. But back then, scouts were old school and old time, and they did a lot of home visits, and they ate supper with us, and did a lot of different things. So, it was cool. But I guess I didn't know any better. I'd gone through it with him a little bit, but I was just enough younger that didn't understand the ins and outs probably.
Yeah. Well, a young guy that gets drafted. I mean, did you immediately start your pro career then? I mean, did it just kind of go from there?
No, I didn't sign that summer. In fact, I was close to going to college, and ended up signing and went to instructional league in Florida the first time, and so then I started pretty fast. Yeah.
Did you guys ever cross paths out there on the pro circuit together? No. Okay. Gotcha.
Dave was he was coaching by the time I came along.
How about now? Was the Phillies that you were drafted by? So you spent a good majority of your time with the Phillies, and was it the Phillies, the Mariners,
Well, Phillies, the Padres, the Reds, and the Mariners,
And the Mariners.
White Sox.
Okay.
Yeah, I one of those guys got passed around a lot.
Well, being that you were drafted by the Phillies, does that kind of hold a special place in your heart?
Yeah, I think Phillies always had a special place because I always felt like, and they trained you to think we were better than everybody else, and we were tougher than everybody else, and we took it more serious than everybody else, and they took care of you probably better after being in other organizations.
Sure.
Understood the Phillies were pretty good to you.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I've talked baseball stories with you. And I love all the stories, but you've been around some great baseball minds. Let alone your brother and you've got like Dick Williams, Dallas Green, a lot of guys. But are there anybody that you look back on and think they were kind of influential in helping you get to be a manager and have the success that you've had at the level that you've reached?
Well, it was probably somebody else that filled out. I always said the best pitch coach I ever had was an old guy named Bob Tiefenauer. He was really simple, and he treated everybody individually, and he knew what your strengths were, and he just told you to work on them, and he wanted you to grow up. He was old school, like, if you want to be good, you're going to do this. If you don't, then we'll find somebody else. And so he was really very influential on me, and learning a lot about pitching and trying to study a little bit more.
Excellent. And Coach, watching your younger brother come up through the grapevine, or watching his work all the way up to get drafted, I'm sure you were pretty proud to have him get that accomplishment. And what was it like with you growing up with a younger brother that was kind of, coming up in your footsteps?
Yeah, he was a freshman when I was a senior in high school, so we got to play together one year.
Excellent.
There was also a guy in that high school team who was a third-round pick by the A's. So
Boy.
we had some exposure at a young age to what professional baseball was like. Had no idea what it was like, but at least we were exposed to it. So we didn't understand it was a business, We just thought you played and the best guys played. That's not the case all the time. It's a little different. It's about money. We all know that, but we know it now. We didn't know it then. So we had a lot of fun. He was a left-handed pitcher. Another guy was the right-handed pitcher. So I got to play with some high-level guys. And he was a better baseball player. Everything. He was a better athlete than I was. So. But I was kind of the guinea pig. I got to go through the recruiting process with the University of Oklahoma. That's who I eventually signed with, and Lefty did as well, because that was the place to be. But I was a guinea pig, and then the draft came along, and we didn't know any better. We thought, and that's probably one of the things for me personally, because I couldn't stay healthy. I wish I probably would, if I could turn back the clock, I'd have went to school.
Gotcha.
And matured a little bit and learn how to deal with a little bit more failure, because we played at a small level and there wasn't a lot of failure for us, not because we were that good, it's because the competition maybe wasn't that good sometimes too. So, but we had fun with it. I mean, there wasn't a competition for me. Like I said, he was better. He was a better basketball player than I was. He was, just a better athlete. So for me, it was easy.
Looking back at that high school team, you said you only had one opportunity to play together your senior year, Darren's freshman season, but you said you had another guy that was drafted as well on that. So what was your team like that senior year? Did you guys have a pretty good squad?
We had a good team. We didn't make it to the state tournament, but we had a good team, and we had a shortstop on that team that was, long story short, and it's not about that guy. That guy's passed on, but the Oklahoma coach was coming to school that day. They were passing through, and they wanted to talk to our shortstop, and our shortstop was out in the parking lot in a fist fight. And he was a Division I baseball player, I would say. Probably going to wind up playing some professional baseball as well. But back in them days, man, it was different. It was different. And if you were fighting, and because somebody looked at you the wrong way, they backed off of him, and his career never panned out after that.
That's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that, but. Coach, you had, like I said, I've had an opportunity to talk to you about some of the people that you've crossed paths with, that you played with through a 10-year minor league career. Was there anybody in particular that kind of stood out to you that would be maybe one of the best players you played with or faced during that time?
Yeah, there's a lot of good players, but I want to go back just to the last
Sure.
question.
Yeah.
Talk about exposure. Gene Stevenson was assistant coach at Oklahoma at that time when he signed Dave.
Yeah.
When he came to sign Dave, he said, "I'll be back for you in 4 years."
Wow.
I thought, hell, I'm in.
Yeah, for sure. Gene Stevenson.
Yeah, and then
And get to play for OU.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, I played with an awful lot of good players and against an awful lot of good players. And you got to be a little bit older to know some of them. The young people today probably wouldn't know a bunch of them, but like Julio Franco, I played with.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Played
You know
against
his real
Tony-
age by
Tony
chance?
Fernandez. Well, I don't know. He started out younger than me and ended up older, so I don't know. But
Right.
Darren Dalton from here in town,
Yes.
played with him, roomed with him. Eric Davis with the Reds
Oh, gosh, yeah.
was a very
What a talented
quality player.
outfielder he was.
Yeah, I mean,
five-tool
there's
guy,
a-
right?
there's-
One of the first guys that kind of talked about as being a five-tool player.
Paul O'Neill.
The Yankees and the Reds.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, there's just so many there's too many to name and mention. But play with a lot of high-level players that play in the big leagues, and I was really blessed to get to be around that long and play against that many people.
For sure. Well, Coach Dave mentioned that he kind of looks back on it and thought maybe, the experience to go to OU might have been something different for him. Do you look back? Are you happy that you went and had this 10-year minor league career? Would you have changed anything?
No, not really. I mean, yeah, I would have changed that I didn't pitch in the big leagues for a long time, but I had opportunity and I went up the ladder fairly fast and just never really worked out. And there's so many things going on in minor league baseball that you have to be pitching really good at the right time when there's an available spot. And there was times I was pitching good, but there wasn't no spot, and so you have to have a little luck other than being good too. So
Yeah.
But no, I don't regret. Now, do I sometimes regret not getting to play college baseball at a big time place like that? But looking back on it but at 18, I thought I was ready to conquer the world.
Sure. That NIL money had been a lot easier to go to college back in those days too.
For
Didn't
sure.
have that.
Your wife, Carolyn,
Yeah.
how'd you meet her? Was it during this time frame?
Yeah, it was while I was playing ball in Vegas with the Padres in AAA, and we met and kind of had a long distance relationship for a couple of years, and sometimes when you know, and so she's been a great supporter and big time part of my success.
Yeah, you both know as baseball coaches, a baseball wife, boy, yeah, when you can find the one, that's because it's not an easy gig.
Everybody can't do it.
I wouldn't want the job, I'll tell you that much.
Everybody can't do it.
Well, you both are very lucky to have found the right person. So, also tell us about your children then, because I know you've got some kids. As well.
Yeah, they both live here in town, and my son Brent is 33 and got 3 kids of his own, and then my daughter Briley is a first grade teacher here at C4, and she's married now, and she coaches high school volleyball. So it's a fun thing to have them close around.
Definitely, and both Tigers too. So.
Both Tigers. They both came here, and of course they grew up Tigers, and
Sure did.
And it's still a place in their heart. Always will be, I'm sure.
Definitely, Coach. You started. What was a very tough beginning when you came here to the baseball program. It had already had some existence, but it needed to be built up, and you kind of took it over from the ground floor and we're moving it up, and then you decided you needed an assistant that you could trust. And what was it that made you give the phone call, and how did it come about to where you reached out to your brother and he decided to come and join the staff?
Well, you got to complete your staff. One, you got to have somebody that has some knowledge about pitching. Somebody a lot smarter than me, and there was a need for him because his career was over and he had to change direction in his life. And here's your opportunity to go back to school, and if you want to teach, you know what? I mean, because I've never asked, but I don't know if you ever didn't really plan on staying 30 years when you came in here that first
No, I
day.
thought it'd be here 2 years.
I guess I was the same way when I came here. That nice little stepping stone.
Yeah, I
come to
thought.
Cowley.
I'm going to get my 2 years, and good for me that the college was so good to me to let me continue to work and go to school at Southwestern and stay here, and not everybody would have done that and treated me that way, and so that they were good to me in that capacity, but. It was a great fit for me, so why leave?
Yeah, well, definitely. Coach, what was it too? To where you two were able to, but sometimes, like I say, you can butt heads when you're siblings, but the two of you to be able to coexist and come together and form, in my opinion, magic. I mean, to where you capture back-to-back World Series titles. And as I mentioned, I mean, the run of conference titles, the trips to the JUCO World Series. What was it about the two of you that made it work?
Oh, I think we bumped heads. I don't
I'm
think
sure,
there wasn't serious friction, but there was always some bumping of heads, though. But that's probably what made it unique and what made it go. You know, a different outlook and things like that. So we were both like-minded. You know what? And we basically put everything together by ourselves to start, and then it came along. Then we got another assistant coach, and then, like I said, Lefty said they were good to us. You know, then Tom came along, and then Henny came along, and then and then Strobe, and then Buck, and you know what? We're fortunate we hired some good coaches too, and they all had the same vision that we had. So that's kind of what made it go. But like I said, I was a little different than you guys. I planned on staying 5 years. I thought I was going to be a lifer. You guys want to stay 2.
Yeah.
So you know but we got lucky. We did, but we also had a lot of support. Our support system was good here, and we were just determined to do something that people said you couldn't do.
Yeah. Well, along those lines, how grueling was it to build it up, but also how gratifying was it to see, you know, the work that you put in, to where a lot of people said, yeah, right, your vision's to win a World Series title here. Well, that's great, but, you know.
That's how it was perceived, too.
Right.
Yeah,
they just kind of shrug it off. All right, you know, but to actually have it come to fruition, I mean, that had to have been something to see all your hard work pay off like that.
Oh, for me it was cool, and was there a lot of hard work? There was a lot of nights of driving and going from one end of the state to the southern part of another state, and all in the same day. So, but I honestly don't think we knew any better.
Yeah,
we thought it can be attained, but through hard work. And you know, and I remember a long time ago, Dave said one night we were driving, he goes, you know, we got to come with a plan. Got to have courage enough to stick to it, and I think that's what we did. I think that's what paid off, and you know, to win it back to back your first 2 years is pretty cool.
Wow, yeah.
Because I'll be honest with you, I didn't know what to expect when we got out there. I just thought, I hope we just don't get the snot kicked out of us, you know. And you start watching other teams play and go, you know, hell, we're as good as they are.
Yeah.
So we got a chance, and just we played good and played hard and played as a team, and things went well.
Yeah, I'm sure did. You know, you alluded a little bit to some of the administration, you know, with Dr. Pat McAtee, Tom Saya. You know, what do those two mean to you? And did they, you know, entrusted you and, you know, were part of that process? They were part of the administrative team here whenever you came aboard and, you know, and saw through this incredible achievement that you guys did.
Well, Dr. Pat was here. Coach Tom
came aboard after.
Yeah,
that's right.
Coach Tom came about 95 or 96.
Okay.
Whenever middle 90s. But I think Dr. Pat always obviously gave us a support system as a top administrator. When Coach Tom came, the team that they created, I think, made everybody else in the whole college expect to do more.
Elevate their game, right?
It made everybody elevate their game because everybody saw the passion that Tom brought to the athletic department, and not that he just wanted one sport to be good. He wanted us all to be good, and he gave us the support and capabilities of being good.
Terrific. Outside of the 2 World Series titles, what do you value most about your time at Cowley?
I mean, I think maybe the longevity, and I think the support, but just I think value you get to work beside your brother is pretty cool. I think, you know, just all the friendships and the relationships that you make with the players and even your peers is rewarding. So to put it on one, I just think it's a accumulation of everything.
Yeah. Coach, do you have any kind of questions or follow-ups here?
Yeah, Lefty. So we don't know each other, and you're on a podcast. You're talking to recruits and parents right now that might be tuned in. What's your spiel going to be about JUCO baseball? Because JUCO baseball maybe doesn't have the same style points that the Division I people do. Tell people that it's a little bit better level than what most people think it is.
I think once a person gets here, they understand that the competition is a really high level. You see a lot of good people. I've had a lot of coaches that have coached at high levels, and in high school, and their son come, and they say, I just didn't realize how good it was. But there's an awful lot of good baseball players that come here, and my thing is, they're Division I players waiting their turn.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
and especially today's time in Division I baseball has become an older player's game. I think last year I was told that the average age in the SEC for a baseball player was 23.9.
Wow.
So how's an 18-year-old going to understand and be able to compete against those grown men? So you want to tell guys, like, okay, now come here, be exposed, be pushed, show your talents, and grow up and get a lot of game time instead of just practice. And so that I mean, that's what we have to be honest. They just want, players still want you to be honest with them. And if you can be honest and sincere and kick them in the butt when they need it and put your arm around them when they need it, they're still going to play hard for you.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and I've had numerous players over the years go, Coach, the adjustment from high school to junior college was steeper and tougher than the adjustment from JUCO to Division I level or the Division II level. So that just shows you how good this league is and how many good players. And you know, go down to the locker room and look at the guys that have played in the big leagues out of here. I mean, we've had a 9th rounder out of this program.
Yeah.
You know, we just had a guy go into the Kansas Baseball Hall of Fame this weekend.
Sure did.
Played in this program as a freshman. He wasn't ready to go to Division I, and he didn't. And he sunk a little bit when he first came. He struggled, you know, because he came from a small town in North Dakota where this was really fast. So people just don't realize how good. And it's just not baseball. It's just the whole department. I mean, you go watch a basketball game, it's just different now. It's
That's
just
right.
different. And softball and wrestling and track and soccer, it's a adjustment to come here because the waters are pretty steep and they're swirling it on top of it.
Sure.
So you can get lost if you're not careful.
What was the biggest adjustment for you? You know, obviously you guys were tied at the hip there for so many years leading the baseball program, but when your brother made the decision to retire and you took over as the head coach for the Tigers, what was the biggest transition there? You know, and what's it been like managing without him?
Well, I mean, it was it's been good, but I always knew that support system was there, and talked at length about a lot of things about him. But I mean, I didn't. There was nothing to change. It was just try to keep it on course. And that's not always easy.
For sure.
And so, you know, you get to the top of a mountain. You got to. People are trying to push you off, and so. It was an adjustment because you got to make the final decision that I didn't always have to make. Now, but the good thing for me, I was fortunate because he included me in a lot of decisions, and I got to be a coach and not just a gopher.
Yeah.
And I got to make a lot of decisions as an assistant coach, so it was a little bit easier transition for me than it could have been.
Everybody that's worked here had that same luxury, though. I think. I mean, we tried to include everybody, and we had to get together because the boss don't have the answer all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and that was probably a plus too that made this thing go too, because he'd speak up and like, hey, that's stupid. Like, what are you talking about? But you go home and rethink it and like, yeah, it is kind of stupid, ain't it? You know. But then Henny comes along, he has a different outlook. Buck comes along, he has a different outlook on it too.
Yeah.
So I think in the organization you gotta have that, you know. And everybody starts thinking the same. No one's thinking then,
Right.
you know. So I like the contrast, and I think that's how you got to manage people, you know, kids, and that's what you have to do. Not only is it managing the game, but you got to manage the roster and the people that are inside that roster as well.
Yeah, well, you guys have got so many different players that have been drafted. I mean, hundreds of players that have been drafted in the Major League Baseball draft, guys that have played at the big league level. But your coaching tree, too. You just talked a little bit about it, but mentioned a couple names. Scott Hennessy, now the AAA manager of the Oklahoma City Dodgers. You've got Brock Buckingham that was on your staff for many years, too, and he's now the head baseball coach over at Pittsburgh State. So neat to see some of these guys that you worked with have that opportunity to move on and do well.
Yeah, what's really cool, and I don't want to take over, but Thursday at UCO, they're having an early season tournament at 10 o'clock. Buck plays at 10. A kid by the name of Kevin Paxton, who played here in 95 and 96, East Central. He coaches at East Central in Oklahoma. They play at 1, and then the Ray boys are playing at 4.
Oh, man.
You know, and then we got a guy at Fort Hays State. to me, it's all about the program. It's not about the guys that played for me. It's the guys who were in this program. Because if you start making it about me, that's not what this program was. We didn't build a program like that. It was built on, this is about us.
Yeah.
And it's always going to be about us. And somebody wants all the spotlight, then it's not going to work here.
Yeah, no joke. This might not be an easy question to answer, but I hear this so much from, and I love it. I mean, the coaches here, everybody at Cowley, expects to win, and that's what Cowley is. But it just seems like it's special to put on that Tiger uniform and to represent Cowley, to represent Ark City, this community. What does it mean to you to be a Tiger, Coach? I mean, to be able to wear that orange and black and put that on each time you go out there.
Well, I mean, I think it's grown into a special place that like I said, it was just, I've never had anything to compare it to other than professional baseball, and so it's the first time and the only time that I've been in a college setting that makes like, wow, this is really cool. So it's just a pride that you help be that type of program and build this type of program that it's a prideful thing to put on that uniform.
Mm-hmm.
And I really think that's probably what made us go too. That Lefty had alluded to that it wasn't professional baseball, and we didn't treat it like professional baseball, but we treated those kids like professionals, though, and we expected them to act like professionals. And we, we're playing one time in the fall, and Craig Freindahl, who's going to be a Hall of Famer someday, he's a really good closer from Elkhart, Kansas. Mm-hmm. He was in a mess now. I mean, a mess. And he was probably looking in the dugout, wanting out of the game. Lefty walked out and told him, said, "Hey, you got yourself into this mess. Get yourself out of it." Best piece of advice he's ever got. He'll tell you that today.
That trust and confidence.
Yeah, absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And after that, he took off. And, and he goes to the national tournament. Basically, he's one of the 2 or 3 guys that pitches to a third-place finish, because he was nails out there. Because when he first came, it wasn't that good, And we got lucky. I saw him at a camp in Wichita State, and him and Lefty they really bonded together, and they worked. But I think the best thing he did when he told him, "If you got yourself in it, get yourself out."
Yeah.
And I think that was the best thing that's ever happened. I think that we've done that with a lot of guys. We've kept running them back out there when they struggled, just to let them know that, hey, you know what, we've earned your trust, and now you get to fall on your face.
Yeah. Well, Coach, you've had a lot of players that have gone on, like I said, and been successful. You got Casey Eckstein going into the Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame this weekend. That's got to be special to you to see former players come back and be able to reminisce. And so I'm sure it'll be nice to see Casey this weekend.
Well, I think that's what makes this job all worthwhile, is the relationships and the players you see, and the men that become, and the husbands and the fathers, and the people that they become. That's why you do this. It's not. I don't think it's ever been about the wins. I think it's been about making boys men.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we've done a pretty good job of that.
I'd say so. We know the hours that it takes to do this job. It's not easy for you, but when you do have some free time, do you have any hobbies?
Well, I used to have a lot of hobbies, but I'm too damn old anymore to have any hobbies.
Aren't we all?
Well, I mean, I used to, and we used to do this a lot together too. And you talk about, we used to coon hunt. Okay?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I used to, and I do a little bit now, but not like I used to. But we used to put our kids to bed at 9 o'clock. We go coon hunting, and we talk about baseball.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it was there was no phones, there was no people talking other than us, and sometimes we wouldn't talk for an hour, and then we'd talk for a solid hour. So,
how many people would have staff meetings at Grouse Creek?
Oh wow! Yeah, I don't know of any
or on the Arkansas River. We did.
That's awesome.
We did. Buck, Buck would hunt with us, and Henny. We even took Henny's city-fied.
Strobe.
Strobe would go. Yeah, so we were no conflict, no interruption, and you know what? We got a lot of things settled. But yeah, we had staff meetings on Grouse Creek. I used to say all the time.
That sounds great.
Yeah, well, you should have been. We even took Coach Tom hunting with us one time. Only once, because he wouldn't.
Oh my goodness! I got my exercise in because I had to walk down the road to hear the dogs.
Yeah, I love you, Coach Tom, but that's not your best hunting partner out there, is it?
Well, it was muddy and it was wet. He didn't want to get his shoes dirty. Like, come on, man.
But we went to the easiest place we could go, and we had a really good hunt, and he thought it was awesome. So
good.
He never wanted to go again, but he had a good time, and
yeah.
and that was all in love and war.
For sure. Well, we talked about some of your hobbies. What about if you've got, you're in your truck by yourself and you put on some music? What would be your music interests?
Oh, I'm not much of a musician at all, but I still go back to the older country of George Strait and Alan Jackson and people like that. And if I'm going to listen, I listen to a radio station that plays that.
Yeah, for
And
sure.
So that's the stuff today I don't understand very well.
80s country, man. I love
Yeah,
the
it
80s
was,
country.
it was the
80s
best.
and
I've
beyond.
driven a lot of miles of that stuff cross country with, the old cassette tapes that,
Gosh,
had a
yeah.
whole case. And when there's no radio stations, you listen to a lot of cassettes and a lot of George
You could
Strait.
find America's Top 40. That was critical. That was big time too, because you might start that thing at 10 and get home about 2:30. So you knew you knew the top 40 that week anyway.
That's right. And then can make your mixtape. So,
Well, there you go.
TV interests. I know you're a sports fan, so I'm sure you watch a lot of baseball.
sports.
But are there any kind of, TV interests?
Yeah, I
you
like
have?
westerns. The old westerns. John Wayne. We grew up with John Wayne and Clint Eastwood and all those kind of westerns, and just the old sitcoms that are still things that I like to watch.
I love it. And now we've gone from watching Clint Eastwood be this amazing actor to what a great director too.
Yeah,
he's made some classics. Unforgiven. That's probably one of those too that you.
Sure, a lot of that kind of stuff.
You ever seen the movie Tombstone?
Oh, just a time or two.
Yeah, I love that one, man. I'm a Western guy with you too. The Searchers, John Wayne. I think that's one of
Watched
my
it last
favorites.
night.
Did you really?
I did.
Wow, that's one of my favorites of his. I mean, obviously, True Grit and those two, but
Yeah, all those. I never knew John Wayne made a bad movie.
God,
so
no joke. Yeah,
some are just better than others.
yeah. I made the mistake, and it's not a mistake. I mean, I love John Wayne, but I was in a small town of it's by Burlingame, Kansas. It was called the Scranton Tavern. I was in there last year, and we go in for a fantasy football draft, and college football's on, so we go to the Scranton Tavern expecting their one TV in there to be on the football game, and it was on a John Wayne movie, and we made the mistake of asking them to change that channel, and there was no way that was going to get changed. So,
If you went into a tavern and suggested that, you're lucky you don't have a black eye still yet today.
no, they were saying this is what it stays on, all right? So it's John Wayne 24/7.
We were talking about that the other day, what those kind of places are called in different parts of the country.
Yeah, well,
We call them bars, they call them taverns.
Tavern, yep, the old Scranton
Guys,
Tavern.
Pub.
Yep.
Up in the northeast are pub.
That's right. I love them, though.
Yeah.
Well, Coach, thoughts on the upcoming season? You guys are coming off another great season last year, 45 wins. You're going to open the season on Thursday in Texas. Do you still get butterflies before opening day? And
Sure. Opening day is always special.
isn't it?
Opening day is always special, and I think if you don't, when it quits being special, you need to quit doing it. And there's two really special days at the start of the year. It's opening day and then the home opener. Makes it more special, but that won't be for a while, so that's okay. But I like our club. I think we're athletic. I think we're talented. We always talked about, Dave and I did, if you're going to be young on one side of the ball, you need to be older on the other side of the ball. And so we have a lot of older guys that got a lot of game time that are everyday players. But we got some older pitchers, but we're freshman heavy on the pitching side. But they're talented, and so it's gonna. We hope our hitters can, I guess maybe, let them get settled in and become college guys.
Yeah. This point in the year, early in the season, usually the pitching's ahead of the hitting. Is that right?
It always is, But we're also going to test them. We're going to, we started this a long time ago, and we haven't backed off of going playing good people.
Yeah.
And are we going to lose some games? Sure, but we're going to find out who we are, and find out what we got to work on, and go from there.
Was it the 97 or 98 team that started 5-7? I believe it was, or 4-6. 4-6.
98 team started 4 and 6.
And did they go unbeaten in the conference that
did.
year?
We did.
Just incredible.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just something I don't know if that's going to happen again. I mean, for someone to go
I don't
unbeaten
see
in
it.
the conference.
I'm not going to say never, but but you know what? I'm going to say this team this year has the capabilities. I think they're really good. I think they have a chance. I think it's the best team that we've had in a long time. I think it's the best team Lefty's has as a head coach. From the everyday side, especially because they're going to score runs. They're pitching. He'll figure out the pitching side of it. So,
always.
And I'll say this: the program's in better shape now than ever. I mean, the facilities are outstanding. Shane made sure we got turf that we can keep up.
Wonderful.
New scoreboard, all the amenities. I mean, the coaching's better. The scholarship money's better. he's elevated to where it wasn't when I got out of it for sure. So, and that's the truth. The players. I don't want to say the players are better 'cause I don't want to fight those guys.
Yeah, I can't agree with all that. I think the program's in a good spot. I don't know that it's better, but we're proud of what we built, and we're proud to try to keep it going. So, and you just try to instill that in the players, the pride that what it means to be a Tiger.
Oh gosh, yeah. Go ahead, Coach.
That's a lot of pressure to put on somebody. Because the players are better. Like he's better than Travis Hafner.
Yeah.
Better than Aaron Aiken. Like, well, now I sound stupid for saying something stupid.
Well, I'm going to tell you a little story. When we got the Hafner building, we were dedicating that building that day, and somebody mentioned to Dave, said, "Boy, you ought to be able to really get some good players now." And I'm going to clean it up. He said, "We've had some really good players before."
Kind of went on me like a cup of cold water. Like I don't appreciate
Yeah. He got a little ticked off at that, and I went, "Okay, here we go."
I got a little puffy, as the boys say.
Yeah.
A little defensive there, but I can understand.
We were playing at Crowder one day, and I'm coaching third base, and I think Dave made it 2 pitches before he got ejected. And the umpire comes down there and goes, "Coach, you got to get him off field." I said, "No, dude, you got to get him off field. You're on your own. I'm not touching this one."
2 pitches. Man, wow. That was, yeah.
It's a long story.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a lot of good stories that we can say, but that just, that happened. And like, that's kind of how it was. Like, yeah, you're on your own, pal.
Yeah.
I got thrown out one time at Neosho County handing in the lineup card.
Did they just remember you from the time before, or was it just?
No,
it was from the first game, in between games.
Okay, gotcha.
But
oh boy,
I don't think he probably ever got ejected when he didn't want to.
No,
yeah, gotcha. It was kind of a strategical thing then.
I left him by himself one night at Coffeyville. It's cold. I mean cold. It's like really.
That was when I first got here.
Yeah, and we weren't very good, and we're not playing very well. And it's like, "I'll see you in a little bit." I said, "Where are you going?" I said, "I'll be right back." I got kicked out and went to the bus and got warm.
Yeah, I heard the bus crank up about 10 minutes later. I said, "That's sorry." Now
I can't say what he said either because it wouldn't go well on there.
That's sorry. But
I tell you, I've been lucky to be a fly on the wall at at a lot of your guys' games, and been fortunate enough to go out to Grand Junction many times with you guys. And I will say, Coach, like I say, being a fly on the wall has been really cool. It makes me wish that I could go back and play again. I would have never been able to play at your level for your teams, but I go back to, I think it was 2022, and you guys are coming off of a loss there, and it's one more and you're out, and you get the guys together. And I was down there, kind of watching. And, I mean, you gave a speech that every one of those guys – I mean, the game was over, in my opinion. It was over right then. I knew we were going to win. And we go out, we score 6 in the first, and we put 20 something on the board in that game. And, I mean, you guys know how to reach those guys. And like I say, something about the two of you that I knew right then and there. That game was over. It was won already before the game had even started, and that's something special you guys have. So,
well, I learned a lot of it, from him and from other people. But you got to have players that want to receive it.
Yeah, and they did. I mean, message was received. Boy, those guys. You walked off after that. They huddled up. And like I say, man, it was goosebumps. And they immediately went right to the plate, top of the first, put 6 on the board, and that thing was toast, buddy. So
it always helps to recruit guys that aren't very smart too, so you make them believe whatever you want to believe that way.
Well, if you remember the show Miracle,
oh yeah,
Kurt Russell walks out and goes, "That ought to get them started."
Yeah.
Sometimes you try to figure out what's going to get them started, and I don't remember that situation, but I don't know. You just try to say the right thing at the right time.
Yeah, you sure did. Coach, this has been so much fun to have both of you together, and I mean, we could do this for hours. I mean, we haven't even touched on so many things that I'd like to touch on and talk about. So I'm sure we'll have you back again too, Coach. Sure. So we've really enjoyed it. But anything else that we didn't talk about?
I just appreciate him coming on because I know it's busy, and he's probably got things he'd rather be doing than sitting visiting with us.
Well, I enjoy this. I have things I need to be doing, but
Can I ask you one last thing? You've got 2 young assistant coaches. I'd be remiss not to mention this. A couple guys, Brandon and Gus. Gus Freeman just joined the staff this year, former Tiger. A couple guys that really seem to be hitting the ground running, doing a lot of good things for the Tigers as assistants. Right?
You know, and when you look for coaches, you always look for passion. They both have a deep passion for the game of baseball.
I can see that.
And they're both willing to learn, and they're both willing to try to get better. And, I mean, I went out in the cages this morning at 8:30, and Gus had the catchers out there doing drills, and Brandon had the infielders doing drills. And,
Right.
like, you know, they'll stay late, they'll come early, and you always look for that. And good for them, but they both have passion, and I'm proud of them for that.
Yeah, terrific. I mean, obviously, you guys have this bond being brothers and then coaching together, but these guys, they almost seem like brothers. They seem like
They're
connected
tight.
together all the
They're
time.
pretty tight. You know, they spend a lot of time together. They talk and they run stuff by me, but I let them be themselves, and I give them responsibility because I was given responsibility. And if they're never going to learn, are they going to mess up? Absolutely. But I don't think you learn unless you do. And so, and I told them I didn't bring them in here to be a monologue. I want them to coach, and if they do something I don't like, I'll tell them behind closed doors. And so, try to treat them as an equal and give them responsibility.
Well, they're both a couple lucky guys to get to learn from you, and they got bright futures ahead of them.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, they're both good. They both got bright futures for sure. So, but they're enthusiastic, and it's also they spend a lot of time at it. Next question would be, are they married? Like, nope.
I think we know the answer to that. That's right. Exactly.
I don't think that stopped us, though.
No, it didn't.
Right. Well, you know, Coach, I know the season opens in 2 days. Like I say, the Tigers will be out there. Opening day here at home will be just around the corner in a few weeks. So we'll be making sure we'll let you know when that's coming up, and make sure to get out there and support the Tiger baseball team. You know, Coach Dave's put no pressure on your team. Sounds like you don't have much of a squad this year.
I just, you know, I hope we just come back without red butts.
Well, hey, you guys created this monster, and you know, like you talked about, and like we mentioned, that 4 and 6 season. Every year, you guys schedule very tough non-conference opponents, and it's, I mean, wins and losses. You know, I know you want to win the game, obviously, but this is basically spring training for you guys, right? I mean, this time of year before the conference season starts, kind of finding out your team a little bit more, and who's going to be those guys you're going to rely on once you hit conference.
Yeah, you got to find out who fits in what role.
Yeah.
And, you know, I mean, I think every day wise you kind of have an idea, but pitching wise you don't know who's going to fit in what role, and there's a lot of times it changes throughout the year.
Yeah.
And
right.
so you have to be willing to do that. But I think that's what we've always treated it as, is to learn your team and learn who can handle adversity and who can revel in high leverage situations. And that's the hard part as a baseball player. A lot of them haven't been in this kind of high leverage situation, so that's what you want to put them in, and that's why we play good people.
Yeah, well, be thrown right into it. So, hey, and we know you've got other things you got to get to, like Coach Dave mentioned, with the game coming just in 2 days. Got a lot to work with your squad leading into. So, we've got some things. We'll clean up some housekeeping duties here, but we'll let you get on your way, Coach. So,
All right, appreciate you having me.
Thank you so much. It was a blast talking with you today, and can't wait to do this again.
All right, thanks, Rama.
Well, guys, we'll go ahead and once again thank our guest, head coach Darren Burroughs. Boy, what a fun time that was, Coach. Like I said, I wish we had more time because I could just sit here and visit with you guys all day about baseball. And I mean, that's been some of my fondest memories of being here at Cowley, is whenever I get to sit down and pick the brain of the Burroughs brothers and talk baseball with you guys.
See, we talked about expectations being high. If you don't expect a lot, you don't get a lot. Well, yours aren't very high if you want to pick mine and lefty's brain.
Shoot. Well, as we mentioned, the Tiger baseball teams will open up on Thursday out in Texas, and some other updates from Cowley News. We've got the number 10 ranked Tiger wrestling team. They're going to compete Thursday. That was moved from Wednesday to Thursday. They'll be at the Barton Tri-Duel going against Barton and Neosho. And if the Tigers win those two, which these are two of the bottom teams in the conference, now you don't overlook anybody, but if they win those two, Coach is going to be conference champs. So
Pretty cool.
That really is.
That's pretty cool.
Justice is doing a really good job. Justice Circle, head coach of that team, and hopefully they'll get those victories on Thursday and can be conference champs for just the second time in program history. Also, the Tiger basketball teams, boy, the Tiger men are kind of finding their footing again after a little bit of a slide. They've won 3 in a row. Had a nice win at home again on Saturday over Colby, and they got a big one on the road against Coffeyville tomorrow. And even though Coffeyville's just 500 in the conference, Jay Herkelman and his squad at home, that's always a tough one, Coach.
Yeah, that's going to be a big game. I think our conference title kind of hinges on how we do in Montgomery County. We'll go back to Independence later, too. And
Yes.
we can come out of there with a couple of dubs. We got a chance to win the conference. Because we got Butler left at home. We got Garden left at home. And but those 2 games, and then of course Northwest Tech won't be a simple trip either, and it'll be hard. They took Butler to the edge, man.
They did.
Got beat by 2. So, but that's going to be a big game. And you know what? I mean, we said it before. I think we said it outside of this room that if you're going to struggle, do it before the playoffs get ready to start, because they've kind of righted their ship and they found themselves again.
They have.
And in this league, you're going to have some ups and downs. Everybody's had them. Look at the records. And
It's incredible. I mean, like you said, Butler's leading the conference with 4 losses right now, and I don't think they're going to stay at 4 either. I mean, it's going to be a 6 loss or more in the conference for the conference champion.
yeah, and we're only 2 games back in the loss column. That's all that matters. And we got Butler here, so
Sure do.
you know. Then you got to hope somebody can knock them off while you stay on course. But they're in a good spot right now for sure.
Well, and the Lady Tigers will look to get back on track. They unfortunately suffered a home loss to Colby the other day, which they led by 6 with a minute and a half left, and Colby finished on an 8-0 run. So that was a tough one. Former coach Darren Spence doing a nice job with his squad out there at Colby. Lady Tigers will also play at Coffeyville tomorrow. Those game times will be 5:30 and 7:30. And then be sure and come out Saturday for Tiger basketball games. Those will be at 4 and 6 this weekend due to it being Hall of Fame weekend. And in between games, the Hall of Fame class of 2026 will be honored with plaques that they will hang inside the Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame room. So along those lines, the Tiger Athletic Hall of Fame luncheon will take place on Saturday at 11 a.m. inside the Earl and Wright Community Room. And then on Friday night, you can come on out to the Hall of Fame Social, which will be at the Burford Theater at 7 o'clock. Also, your nationally ranked Tiger tennis teams open the season at Washburn over the weekend, and they will host Midwestern State University this Saturday at 9 a.m. at the Arc City High School tennis courts. Also, your nationally ranked Tiger indoor track and field teams just continue to do well. They had a big weekend last weekend competing up at WSU. And they will have some split squads taking part in some meets at Northwest Missouri State and Missouri Southern this weekend. Also, non-athletic-wise, the Humanities and Communications Day event is tomorrow from 9 to 2 in the Wright Room. And the Red Cross Blood Drive will take place Thursday from 10 to 4 in the Wright Room as well. So a lot going on, Coach.
Homecoming, Hall of Fame's a big weekend, and we got a good class going on. Friday night kicks off the festivities, and that's always fun. The social's going to be good, and then the banquet's special, just to see the raw emotion of the people that get up there, because it's a humbling experience, and I can't wait. It's my favorite event of the year, without question.
Yeah, I know it's a wonderful thing. I'm lucky to be a part of the committee and to see these players, a lot of them that I've had a chance to witness over my last 20 years here at Cowley, now getting to come back in as Hall of Famers. The emotion of that day is special.
It's really special, and I can't wait.
Okay, guys, it's time for the joke of the day. I think everybody was waiting for this with great anticipation. So, you ready for this one, Coach?
Well, after last week, I don't know if you can top it or not. It might not. You might be a Hall of Fame joke teller after last week.
Well, it's not really a joke. I'll just tell you, okay?
Okay.
So, all right. So my wife the other day, she tells me, she says, she gets upset at me. And, the other day she said, I never buy her flowers. I said, I didn't even know you sold flowers. Shoot. I'm just always in trouble.
I hope she's not listening. You're going to be in more trouble.
I'm always in the doghouse. So I probably better bring some flowers tonight, Coach.
I would if I were you.
Better buy from her, especially since she's the one selling
I'm
them.
going to give you some free advice. I'd go get some flowers at Dillon's.
Yeah, it's a new material.
Yeah, really.
All right. Well, hey, everybody, thanks again so much for joining us on episode 6 of the Behind the Stripes podcast. It was great to have Coach Darren Burroughs with us today. Coach Dave Burroughs, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed having an opportunity.
I had a great time. Look forward to the next one.
Yeah, me too as well. And once again, thanks Chris Ripley so much for doing all the behind-the-scenes work to bring the podcast to you. So until next Tuesday, this is Rama Peroo for Coach Dave Burroughs. We'll see you next Tuesday on the Behind the Stripes podcast.